There's a quiet kind of power in the things you don't say. In the age of constant exposure, when every thought, emotion, and detail of our lives is one click away from being broadcasted, choosing to keep something private isn't just rare, it's revolutionary. You've probably felt it. That pressure to explain yourself, to post your wins, to justify your struggles, to share what should really be sacred. But the truth is, not everything needs an audience. Not every emotion needs to be decoded by others. And not every moment belongs to the world. The Stoics knew this long before social media existed. They believed that true strength isn't shown in how loudly you speak, but in what you choose to protect in silence. What you hold close, your thoughts, your values, your healing, those are the pieces of you that shape your inner world. And when you give them away too easily, you trade something deeper than attention. You trade your peace. This video isn't about hiding, it's about reclaiming your privacy as a source of freedom. Your restraint as a form of discipline, your silence as a form of power. Today, I'll walk with you through 8 things that the Stoic philosophy urges you to keep private, not out of fear, but out of respect for yourself, for your boundaries, for your dignity. Because when you stop oversharing what's sacred, you start living from a place that's grounded, whole, and deeply yours. So take a breath. This is your moment to pull back from the noise and return to what truly matters. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Your emotional triggers. Not everything that touches you needs to be seen. There are moments when something or someone gets under your skin. A look, a word, a memory, and suddenly your chest tightens. Your breath shortens. That invisible button has been pressed, and the reaction rises like a wave. This is your emotional trigger. And how you handle it defines everything. You don't have to announce your pain to claim your strength. In a world that rewards outrage, it might feel strange to remain still. When someone provokes you, it can be tempting to let them know they've struck a nerve. But the Stoic path whispers a quieter truth. The moment you show where you're wounded, you hand the knife to someone else. Your triggers are not weaknesses. They're doorways. They lead you to the parts of yourself that still need care, still need healing, still need your attention, but they don't need to be exposed to everyone around you. That exposure doesn't give you relief. It often brings more confusion, judgment, or manipulation. Silence is not suppression. It's strength under control. The Stoics didn't teach you to become numb. They taught you to become steady. When you choose not to react immediately or publicly, you're not bottling up your feelings. You're creating space to reflect, to breathe, to respond in a way that honors your higher self, not your wounded self. This is your power, to know where you're sensitive and to protect it. You don't need to explain your reactions to everyone. You don't need to defend every feeling. What you need is clarity, and clarity comes when you step back and observe yourself without judgment. Next time you feel that surge, anger, jealousy, embarrassment, rejection, pause. Not for them, but for you. Ask yourself, why does this sting? What old story is being reawakened? And then sit with it quietly, privately. Let it soften in your own time, because when you understand your trigger, you disarm it. And once it loses its power to control you, it loses its power to expose you. Not everything deserves your reaction. Not everyone deserves access to your interior world. Some things are meant to be met with stillness. That's not avoidance, that's mastery. That's you refusing to let your life be ruled by the buttons other people are allowed to push. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He wasn't asking you to hide from what hurts. He was inviting you to step into it with presence, not performance. You are not here to be constantly triggered. You are here to be rooted. To know yourself so well that when disruption comes, you meet it with grace, not for show, not for pride, but because your peace matters more than your reaction. So today, let this be your quiet practice. Observe your emotions. Guard your reactions. Keep your triggers sacred. They are not weapons to be waved. They are lessons to be held. You are allowed to feel deeply without explaining loudly. Let your self-mastery begin with what you choose to keep private, and let that choice remind you your inner world belongs to you and no one else. Chapter 2. Your acts of kindness. Kindness is most powerful when no one is watching. In a world where everything is measured by visibility, likes, shares, praise, it's easy to forget that the most meaningful things we do are often the ones we do in silence, without cameras, without credit, without applause. Your kindness doesn't need a stage. It needs sincerity. When you offer someone help, when you listen without interrupting, when you comfort without expecting anything in return, that is real strength. And that strength doesn't grow from recognition. It grows in private, when your actions align with who you truly are, even when no one else notices. There's something sacred about a good deed kept quiet. You know the moment I'm talking about. When your heart leans in before your ego does. When you give not because it looks good, but because it feels right. That's the kind of kindness that changes the world, quietly, steadily, and from the inside out. The Stoics didn't believe in virtue for show. They believed in doing what's right simply because it's right, not because someone is watching. Not because it will be remembered, but because it honors your inner compass. Seneca once said, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." He never added, "as long as someone notices." But here's what happens when you turn kindness into performance. It becomes diluted. It becomes about you, and slowly, the purity of that act begins to fade. What once came from the soul now comes from a desire to be seen. And the world doesn't need more curated generosity. It needs the quiet kind, the real kind. You don't need to share every moment of compassion to prove you care. Some of your most beautiful actions will never be known by anyone else, and that's okay. In fact, that's often how you know they came from the right place. Let your kindness live in the hearts of those it touches, not in the feed of those who scroll. Let the impact speak for itself. Let someone's quiet relief be the only result. Let your character, not your commentary, tell your story. You are not what you announce. You are what you consistently choose in the quiet. And the truth is, kindness kept private becomes part of who you are. It shapes your inner world. It strengthens your sense of purpose. It deepens your connection with something larger than ego. There will be days when your good intentions go unseen. When you do something meaningful and no one thanks you, no one claps, no one even knows. Let that be enough, because the point of kindness is not to be noticed. The point is to make someone else's path a little lighter. And in doing that, you lighten your own. So today, hold on to this. Your kindness doesn't need an audience. It only needs to be real. Let your good deeds be a reflection of your character, not a reflection of your image. Let your kindness grow in the dark, because that's where the deepest roots are formed. And trust always that what is done in quiet virtue speaks the loudest in the soul. Chapter 3. Your healing process. Healing is not a performance. It's a quiet, personal return to wholeness. When you've been hurt by life, by people, by your own choices, there's a part of you that naturally wants to speak, to explain, to be seen in your struggle, and that desire is human. It's real, but it's also delicate, and not everyone deserves to hold space for your pain. Your healing process is yours. It's not for public consumption. It's not for validation. And it certainly isn't for those who don't know how to treat your wounds with care. The Stoics taught that suffering is part of life, but how you face that suffering is what defines your strength. You don't need to share every stage of your recovery to prove you're doing the work. You don't have to narrate every internal shift or show how far you've come. What's happening inside you, quietly, slowly, honestly, is already enough. Healing by nature is sacred. And sacred things grow in silence. Think of a wound. It doesn't close faster by being exposed. It heals best when covered, protected, given the right conditions. The same is true for emotional wounds. You don't have to justify the time you need. You don't have to explain your setbacks. You only have to stay committed to the process, no matter how invisible it looks from the outside. When you speak about your pain too soon, you risk giving it to the wrong hands. People may misunderstand, they may reduce it, or worse, they may use it against you. Not because they're cruel, but because your healing was never meant for them to interpret. It was meant for you to live through, learn from, and grow beyond, at your pace, in your way. The Stoic path is not about hiding emotion. It's about honoring emotion with strength and discipline. It's about knowing that real resilience isn't loud, it's quiet. It's found in those mornings when you rise despite the weight in your chest, in the nights when you choose peace over retaliation, in the moments when you forgive, not because someone asked you to, but because you're tired of carrying the ache. You don't owe the world access to your healing. You owe yourself the space to feel, to reflect, and to rebuild. Let your process be yours. Let your growth unfold like a sunrise, gradual, beautiful, and undeniable, even if no one sees it happening. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If it is endurable, then endure it. If not, stop complaining." That wasn't a command to be stoic in the wrong way. It was an invitation to take your pain seriously, but also to walk with it courageously, without needing to constantly explain or defend its presence. So here's your reminder today. You are allowed to heal privately. You are allowed to take your time. You are allowed to close the door and do the work without the noise of the outside world. Let your healing be soft. Let it be slow. Let it be yours. And when you're ready, when it's truly settled deep within you, you'll know how to move forward with grace, not performance, because what's sacred doesn't always need to be spoken. It only needs to be lived quietly, fully, and on your terms. Chapter 4: Your Ambitions and Next Moves. Not every step you take needs to echo. Your ambition, your vision for what's next, is sacred. It's not something you owe to anyone's curiosity or commentary. When you're building something meaningful, the first and most powerful place it lives is within you. Before results, before recognition, before the world ever sees it, your dreams don't need approval to be valid. You don't have to explain what drives you. You don't need to justify why you want more or why you've chosen a different path. Some people may not understand. Others might project their own fears onto your journey, but none of that changes what you know inside. This matters to you, and that's enough. There is a unique strength in moving quietly. When you talk too soon, you invite noise. When you declare your next move before it's solid, you risk external pressure, derailing internal clarity. The Stoics understood this. They weren't afraid to act, but they acted from conviction, not from a need to be seen. Marcus Aurelius didn't write his meditations for the world. He wrote them for himself, to stay grounded, to reflect, to remain clear in the midst of power and chaos. That's what your private ambition does for you. It keeps you aligned with your deeper purpose, not distracted by fleeting applause or shallow doubt. When you protect your vision, you protect your energy, You preserve the part of yourself that's still tender, still becoming. Every goal starts in silence. Every breakthrough begins in solitude. Talking about it doesn't make it more real. Working on it does. Staying focused does. You don't have to share every move to prove you're moving. In fact, sometimes the most powerful progress is the kind no one sees until it's already happened. Let your success speak for itself when it's ready. Until then, let your discipline do the talking. There's a quiet kind of confidence that doesn't need an audience. It comes from waking up and putting in the work, from choosing consistency over drama, from trusting that you're on your path, even when no one else sees the road you're walking. If someone asks what you're working on and you don't feel ready to say, it's okay to smile and keep it to yourself. If your next move is still unfolding in your heart, let it stay there a little longer. You are not behind, you are not late, you are becoming. So let this be your reminder. Your ambition doesn't have to be broadcasted to be real. Your next move doesn't need to be explained to be powerful. When you protect what matters, you give it the best chance to grow, without interference, without noise, without ego. Move in silence, work with purpose, and let the life you build speak louder than anything you could say. Chapter 5. Your deepest beliefs. Your beliefs are the foundation upon which your entire life is built. What you truly hold to be true, deep in your heart, is what guides every decision you make, every reaction you have, and the very essence of who you are. But in a world that constantly demands validation, it can be easy to forget that your beliefs don't need to be justified to anyone. They are sacred to you, not the audience around you. You don't owe anyone access to your deepest truths. In today's world, it feels like everything is for display. Your thoughts, your choices, your opinions. But your deepest beliefs, those are not for public consumption. They are the quiet anchors in your soul that give you strength. They don't need applause, nor do they need to be approved by anyone but you. There's great power in holding your truth without needing to share it. Imagine this: you don't need to defend or explain what you believe. Your truth doesn't need to be understood by everyone around you. The Stoics understood this well. They didn't preach their philosophy to the world. They lived it. They let their lives speak for the beliefs they held deep within. Their integrity, their commitment to their values became the loudest testament to their beliefs. Your beliefs are personal and private. They are the compass by which you navigate your life. To reveal them to the world too early or too casually is to dilute their meaning. They are meant to guide you, not to be paraded for external approval. By keeping your beliefs to yourself, you allow them to remain pure, unaffected by the noise of the world. The Stoic path calls for you to stand firm in your truth, even when others cannot see it. It's easy to get caught in the whirlwind of society's expectations, to want to prove that you are right or to get others to understand you. But when you stop explaining, stop justifying, and stop searching for validation, you begin to walk a path of inner freedom. Your beliefs become your strength, not a source of vulnerability. Trust your beliefs even in silence. You don't need to speak them out loud to feel their power. They will shape your actions, your thoughts, and your energy. The more you live according to what you truly believe, the more your life reflects your values. And when you stop seeking the approval of others, you free yourself from the chains of outside judgment. You can still live authentically without sharing everything. In fact, living authentically means knowing which parts of yourself are meant to be protected and cherished. The deepest corners of your soul, the ones where your truest beliefs lie, are meant to stay with you. They don't need to be shouted from the rooftops. They just need to be honored in the quiet of your own heart. So, Today, ask yourself, are you living in alignment with your beliefs? Are you standing firm in your truth without needing to explain it to others? Your beliefs are your quiet power. Protect them, nurture them, and let them guide you without needing anyone else's validation. Your truth is not negotiable. It is yours alone. And when you live from that place of quiet confidence, your life will begin to reflect the deep power that comes from being grounded in your own unwavering beliefs. The Stoic way doesn't ask you to shout your truth, it asks you to live it, and that in itself is the most powerful form of freedom. Chapter 6: Your Intimate Bonds. True intimacy is built in the quiet spaces, away from the world's gaze. There's a deep, unspoken power in the relationships you hold closest to your heart, whether it's with a partner, a family member, or a friend. These bonds form the foundation of your emotional world. But here's something the world often overlooks. Intimacy thrives in privacy. It grows in spaces where judgment doesn't have a seat at the table, where the outside noise doesn't influence what you've built together. Not every part of your relationship needs to be exposed to others. In today's world, sharing every moment, every argument, and every joy with the world is tempting. Social media has made it all too easy to publicly display your personal life, and many have fallen into the trap of thinking that love must be shared for it to be validated. But here's the truth. The most sacred aspects of your relationships should remain just between you and the person you share them with. What's yours, what's deeply personal, doesn't need to be put on display. When you choose to protect that space, you honor what's truly important. Your intimate bonds deserve protection from the world's opinions. Every relationship, no matter how strong, can be tainted by the opinions of others. People will always have something to say. Some will support you, others will doubt you. But when you open the door to external opinions too soon, you risk letting someone else define the terms of your bond. This can create unnecessary tension, doubts, and misunderstandings. Stoicism teaches us that the bonds we hold dear must be shielded from external influence. By keeping them private, you allow them to flourish based on the connection between you, not on the approval or disapproval of others. There is power in choosing silence. Silence doesn't mean distance. It's the space where understanding can deepen. It's where trust is built, where real moments of connection take place. It's where you don't need to explain or justify anything to anyone. You and your loved ones can simply be. The Stoics knew the importance of keeping sacred things in silence. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on his thoughts without sharing them with others, only to act with purpose and clarity. His inner peace was nurtured by this private space. The same applies to your most cherished relationships. Keep them safe, in quiet understanding, away from the noise of the world. By protecting your intimacy, you protect your peace. There's a subtle strength in choosing to keep your relationship private. It means you're not looking for validation. It means you don't need the world's approval to know that what you've built is strong, meaningful, and real. It's not about secrecy, it's about preservation. By honoring your connection in private, you allow it to remain pure and grounded in what truly matters to both of you. Your connection isn't for public consumption. True intimacy is not about showing off your love or detailing every moment of your relationship. It's about the quiet moments of connection, the shared looks, the knowing glances, and the moments of comfort and support when no one is watching. These are the moments that define your bond. They are yours to keep. The world doesn't need to witness every aspect of it for it to be valuable. It's okay to let some parts of your life remain sacred. When you choose to protect your most intimate connections, you are investing in the future of that bond. The more you share with the world, the more external influences start to creep in. The more private you keep things, the more secure and grounded your connection will be. And you will find that in those private moments, your relationship grows stronger and more resilient. The more you protect what matters to you, the more room you create for it to thrive. So remember this: your relationships are yours to nurture, protect, and grow. The world does not need to see everything, and neither do you. Choose to keep parts of your connection sacred. Choose to protect your peace and your intimacy. In doing so, you create space for your love to flourish, free from the judgment and pressures of others. By doing so, you preserve what matters most, the bond between you and the people who truly understand you. This is your quiet power. This is the strength found in keeping your closest bonds hidden in plain sight. Let that be enough. Chapter 7. Your past mistakes. Your past does not define who you are today. Mistakes are part of life. They are inevitable, human, and in many ways essential for growth. But here's something the world often forgets. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your past. You don't need to relive your mistakes over and over for the world to understand you. They happened. You've learned from them, and now they belong to the past. Your mistakes are not a reflection of your worth. We all carry regrets, moments of weakness, and times when we've faltered. But here's the thing you need to remember. Your mistakes are not a mark on your value as a person. They do not determine your potential or who you will become. The Stoics understood that mistakes are simply opportunities for growth, not a permanent part of your identity. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Your past mistakes are just that, past. What truly matters is what you choose to do with them now. How you move forward, how you decide to use the lessons you've learned to build a better future for yourself. Don't let your past mistakes be a burden. Too often, people dwell on their past failures, allowing them to weigh them down and define their sense of self-worth. The truth is, the more you carry your past mistakes around with you, the heavier your future becomes. You keep holding on to something that's no longer serving you. But you don't have to. You can choose to release them. You don't need to apologize for growing. This is your life, and you are allowed to change. You are allowed to evolve. If you've learned from your mistakes and worked to become better, you don't need to keep apologizing for what's already in the past. Apologize where necessary, yes, but then let go of the weight of those mistakes. Holding on to guilt or shame from past actions only keeps you anchored in a version of yourself that no longer exists. The Stoics believed in using past failures as fuel for future strength. They didn't look at their errors as weaknesses, but as stepping stones for personal growth. Every mistake you've made has added something valuable to your journey. It's shaped you. It's taught you resilience, patience, and understanding. If you're able to look at your mistakes from this perspective, you'll see that they have empowered you, not hindered you. Healing starts with self-compassion. It's easy to look back and think, "I should have done this differently," or "I could have avoided that." But these thoughts trap you in the past. They keep you tethered to a moment that can never be changed. What you can change is how you treat yourself now. You don't need to be harsh on yourself for the mistakes you've made. Instead, be kind, be understanding. And remember, you did the best you could with what you knew at the time. You've grown since then, and that's what matters. Let go of the need to explain your mistakes to others. In the age of oversharing and seeking validation, it can feel tempting to constantly explain why you've done what you've done, to justify every misstep, every failure. But you don't owe anyone that. What matters is that you've learned, you've changed. You're different. And in the quiet of your own heart, you know that you've done the work. You don't need others to understand or validate your journey. You are not defined by your mistakes. Your past does not have to follow you around like a shadow. You are not that person you were yesterday. Every day is a new opportunity to choose differently, to show up as the best version of yourself. Embrace your past, but don't let it define your future. You are so much more than your mistakes. You are the lessons you've learned, the strength you've built, and the courage you've found within yourself. So today, release the burden. Let go of the shame, the guilt, and the regret. Your mistakes are part of your story, but they do not have to be the story. You are allowed to grow. You are allowed to heal. You are allowed to move forward with purpose and peace. You've already done the hardest part. You've survived. Now, it's time to live fully in the present, with a heart open to new possibilities and a soul free from the past. Chapter 8. Your financial situation. Your financial situation does not define you. In a world that constantly measures success by what you have, it's easy to get caught up in the idea that your worth is directly tied to your bank balance or material possessions. But here's something crucial to remember. Money is a tool, not an identity. It can't capture who you are or what you are truly capable of. The Stoics understood this deeply. They lived simply, focused on virtue and self-discipline rather than accumulating wealth. Money doesn't give you peace. No matter how much money you have or don't have, peace of mind comes from within. Chasing wealth for its own sake often leaves people exhausted and unfulfilled. True contentment doesn't come from external sources. It comes from mastering yourself, from cultivating inner peace, and from aligning your actions with your values. Money can be a part of your life, but it should never control you or dictate your happiness. Don't let the world's standards shape your view of success. Everywhere you look, people are showing off their latest purchases, the vacations they've taken, or the new car they've bought. It's easy to fall into the trap of comparing yourself to others. But the Stoic way teaches us that comparison is the thief of joy. When you focus too much on what others have or don't have, you lose sight of your own journey and your own definition of success. Your financial situation is unique to you, and so is the path you're walking. You don't need to flaunt what you have to prove your worth. There's a certain strength in humility. When you focus on what you truly need, not what others say you need, you begin to understand what really matters. Your wealth doesn't lie in what you wear, the house you live in, or the flashy gadgets you own. It lies in your ability to live within your means, to be content with what you have, and to grow through the choices you make every day. When you stop seeking external validation through material possessions, you'll find that you begin to feel freer. You stop caring about the opinions of others and start living by your own standards. Your financial situation is a reflection of your mindset. How you view money and how you manage it reflects what you value. The Stoics taught that discipline is key, whether it's in your thoughts, your actions, or your finances. If you constantly chase after more, you'll never feel satisfied. If you constantly seek approval through possessions, you'll never feel truly fulfilled. But when you focus on what you need, not what the world tells you to want, you unlock a level of peace and self-mastery that's far more valuable than anything money can buy. True wealth is found in contentment. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, understood that real wealth wasn't measured by how much gold or silver he had. It was about how well he lived in alignment with his values, how peacefully he could live regardless of external circumstances. Real wealth is not about accumulating things. It's about being able to appreciate what you have and finding joy in the simple things, your health, your relationships, and your inner peace. You don't need to explain your financial choices to anyone. The way you choose to spend your money is deeply personal. You don't need to justify your decisions to others or live according to their expectations. If you choose to live simply, to save, or to invest in experiences rather than material possessions, that is your choice. You don't need to share or defend it. When you live in accordance with your values, you'll find that your financial situation will reflect that wisdom. It will no longer be a source of anxiety or stress. Instead, it will become a tool that supports the life you want to build. Financial freedom comes when you stop chasing external validation. Your peace of mind doesn't depend on how much money you have or don't have. True financial freedom is the freedom to make choices based on what aligns with your purpose, rather than what others expect or what society deems important. It's about living within your means and finding joy in simplicity, not in constant accumulation. So today, take a step back. Examine your relationship with money. Are you seeking validation through what you own? Are you using money as a tool for peace or as a way to mask deeper insecurities? Remember, financial freedom isn't about how much you have, but about how much you need. It's about having the discipline to live according to your values and finding wealth not in things, but in the life you're able to build. True wealth is within you. It's in your peace of mind, your ability to choose wisely, and your sense of self-sufficiency. Money is simply a tool. Use it wisely, but never let it define you. You are so much more than your financial situation. Your true worth lies in who you are and how you live. Conclusion. As you've journeyed through these reflections on privacy, you've learned something powerful. What you choose to keep private shapes your strength, your thoughts, your plans, your struggles, your relationships, your mistakes, your finances. These aren't just things to hide away. They are parts of you that deserve your deepest respect and care. You don't need to justify your inner world to anyone. You don't need to perform for the approval of others. The Stoic path is about aligning yourself with what is truly important, guarding your peace, and growing from within, away from the eyes of the world. Now, as you move forward, remember that privacy is not about secrecy or isolation. It's about honoring what matters most. It's about protecting the sacred spaces of your life so that you can walk through this world with greater clarity, confidence, and peace. So take a moment and reflect. Which of these areas in your life are you sharing too freely? Where can you start protecting your peace? What could you gain by guarding the things that truly matter to you? If you found value in this video, if these words resonated with you, take a moment now to commit to a change. Choose one area of your life you've been too quick to expose and make a promise to keep it sacred for yourself. Your personal growth is a private journey, and it's time you started protecting it. If this video helped you in any way, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing it with someone who might need this reminder to guard their inner world. Let's keep this conversation going. Let's build strength together, and let's protect the things that truly matter. Guard your peace, protect your power, and keep what's sacred just for you.